You like weapons? Well, we got offensive weapons in this week one showdown between these divisional rivals. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Week one, baby. We're getting started. Emeka Egbuka taken in the first round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as if they needed another guy besides Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Well, how about the Atlanta Falcons with what they decided to add to on the defensive side of the ball? We talked about offensive weapons, though. Bijan Robinson. They've got Darnell Mooney. They've got Drake London. Kyle Pitts. That team is loaded on the offensive side of the ball. But they're like on defense. How about Jalen Carter out of the Georgia squad that won the SEC this past year, who has been one of the best athletes of any kind in any sport in college the last couple of years. He's a freak. And then they decide, yeah, we're going to give up a first rounder in 2026 because this kid out of Tennessee, James Pierce Jr., is an absolute weapon, as we talked about, that he can be and bring in what we need to stop these dynamic offenses and these quarterbacks like Michael Penix Jr. He's going up against these guys in practice every single week. You don't think that's going to make Michael Penix Jr. a little bit better? He's seeing James Pierce and his guy, Jalen Carter, in practice. So the Bucs and the Falcons, they know each other extremely well. The head coaches, Todd Bowles, we get to see Raheem Morris square off. A lot of defensive football in their backgrounds, but you could probably make the argument that the offense is where the strengths lie. Between the Bucs, Baker Mayfield has been as good as just about anybody. His stats comparable to the best in the NFL the last couple of seasons, and to stand behind that, the Bucs last year should have really beat the Commanders in that playoff game, if we're being honest. Had outplayed them until that fumble from Baker the year before. Found themselves playing in a divisional round game, right? They end up losing to the Detroit Lions. Had a big win against the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is a team that has the experience now, that has played very well when they have needed to in very important moments. A lot of teams, people have still slept on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a very good football team. So week one, and we dive into the weeds of this matchup, we see Tristan Wirfs having to go up against and defend Carter or Pierce, both of those guys on other sides. Bijan Robinson and his dynamic ability. He could still be fantasy RB a number one, expecting him to get the ball about 18, 20 times in this game, and for Michael Penix Jr. to rely on that cannon of what he has, getting the ball when he needs to Pitts. He is like that player that could elevate the Falcons from being an 8-9, 7-10, to being, okay, this team can absolutely win the NFC South. Kyle Pitts is here. Like, he is that guy we saw in college that is a wide receiver in a tight end body, a 6'5", 6'6", 240-pounder, and is just able to run as fast as any other wide receiver pretty much in the league. And so if he's able to play at that level, we know he can. It turns Atlanta into a different offense. The other side of things, Emeka Egbuka, the reports we're hearing, it's everything that we've known. Egbuka has been that guy at Ohio State. He can line up inside. He can line up in the slot. He can line up at any position you need to at wide receiver. Can he block? He can block as well as anybody. Is he physical enough? Well, he's been built like an NFL wide receiver since he was a sophomore there at Ohio State. He comes back another year to be the Jedi to Jeremiah Smith. Not that kid needs a Jedi, but he wants coaching. He wants to learn and improve and be an all-time great. Be a Rice or Randy Moss is what people say. It's still crazy to hear those words. But Emeka Egbuka was that guy to help develop him and pass the torch to Jeremiah Smith. So Emeka Egbuka can do it all, and he's not even arguably a top two wide receiver on that squad. McMillan and Egbuka will be in that competition for that wide receiver number 3 spot, but Egbuka could wind up being the number 1 target over a Mike Evans. Mike Evans could wind up with 87 catches, 1150, 9 touchdowns. You can already see the stat line. This guy does the exact same thing on that Hall of Fame career trajectory. Once he got that Super Bowl, he locked himself in for that Hall of Fame, that gold jacket. He's been so consistent going back, and of course, he could end up breaking that record now, having, 11 straight years over 1,000 yards and starting that career. So in this matchup, I do have a win for the Tampa Bay Bucs, 26-17. It stays close, but maybe a field goal to pull them away late and extend it to a 2-possession win. Still have the edge towards a Baker Mayfield with the experience playing in those playoff games, in the NFL playoff games. Of course, Michael Penix Jr. played for a national championship. He beat Texas in the college football playoffs. Baker Mayfield also played in the college football playoffs. There's a lot of college talk on Blitz of Blender on these videos that I make, live streams, is because of the intersection between college and the NFL is so special when you follow these guys and then you get to see them at the next level. How about we celebrate these players and continue to enjoy and talk about them and their incredible schools and those experiences they have, instead of like, all right, college, NFL, completely two different entities. Let's not whatsoever connect them. Like, no, screw that. We're going to keep celebrating them in their tremendous careers and add those as narratives to this. We have a guy in Michael Penix Jr. that was phenomenal in college, had 4 season-ending injuries, and now is playing with an opportunity to set up his family for generations by being the franchise quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. And it kind of comes down to that year 2, because it's by year 3 where you know a guy is going to be that franchise quarterback. That's what's been said by every scout, by every GM. Like, you know by year 3, if the Falcons have a winning season and they're led well by Michael Penix Jr. and they compete with Tampa, Tampa is the team to beat in the NFC South. They might even be the team to beat in the NFC with all those weapons. We haven't even talked about Bucky Irving yet, but this guy is, in my opinion, the most underrated player in the National Football League. You can watch my other videos. Go to my Tampa Bay 2025 season preview predictions of what they do. I said they go 11-6, win the division. Bucky Irving, a phenomenal talent. But Kyle Pitts could be that guy in the league if he's able to play at a high level. He doesn't have to put up 12 touchdowns, but if he could have 7, 8, close to 1,000 yards, absolutely could have. The Falcons is a team that could be competing right there with Tampa, and they could win this game. They absolutely could do so. So let me know down below in the comments who you think is going to win it. I am confident that Tampa Bay, even though they are on the road to start the year, will get that win. Such an offense that maybe you can stop them with a drive, force a punt, and then get a takeaway. But being able to stop that offense from scoring 3 straight possessions, and their ability, and Baker Mayfield with that confidence, which is really everything in football, in most of life. It's about confidence. It's about going out there, believing in yourself, and when you've already done it, it just makes it so much easier. A guy like Ibuka that's been at Ohio State, the perennial ability, you immediately can put the guy on the field, and you've even heard Baker talk about it all offseason. Like, he's confident he can get the ball to Ibuka, that he's going to have that trust, that chemistry already to trust him with it. So that's why I've got the Bucs winning this game, because of a little bit of that edge in veteran ability in these guys that have been established, and they've won a little bit more than Atlanta has. But a week 1 game, anything can happen. Teams can have a slow start. So please let me know down below in the comments. Please subscribe for more content in the future. Would love to see you around here more often. Let's talk ball, baby. That is what we love to do. And I will be seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much. Football is back. Let's go. Best player in college football. That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic. Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder. To the 40, 35, 30. Espinosa to the 20.